Are you ready for some more Entitled Parents madness? Well, buckle up and get ready to defend your property, because here they come. Encountering an EP anywhere is usually pretty shocking, but for this woman, it is even more so. What does this EP do that is so outrageous? He just wants to sit back and enjoy his bus ride. But what ridiculous accusation does this EP make before they even leave the station? A mum and her daughter are enjoying a school field trip, but this EP is not satisfied with the activities that have been provided. What crazy reason does she have to demand a refund? You'll only find out by watching this episode of VoiceyHere's Entitled Parents. This story was called "Woman Barges into My Apartment and Calls Me a Liar. She Had the Wrong House." Boy, do I have a good one for you guys tonight. This just happened about an hour or two ago. Let's meet the cast. Me, rude entitled woman, and quiet kid. He didn't say anything, so he's not a part of this story. But he was there, so I was at home just doing some laundry and washing some dishes when I hear the bell go off, and I proceed to dry my hands to go down and answer the door. I live on the top floor, and I actually have to walk down 2 sets of stairs, one in my place and one in the main lobby where there is another neighbor living right next door to me. Anyway, let's continue. As I'm drying my hands, the bell happens to go off 2 more times. I basically had to rush down while trying to put on some sweatpants. I had pajama shorts on, but I don't like answering the door in my shorts. So yeah. I finally get down to the door, and as I'm opening it, there is this woman with the most angry scowl on her face, and her son behind her looked about 15, and she pushes the door a little too hard, which then slams into my foot, and I let out a natural ouch. You know what? Here's how the conversation went. Right after the door slams into my foot, I yell ouch.
"Oh, stop being a child. I didn't even touch you."
But you pushed the door into my foot as I was still opening it. Have some patience.
Huh. Anyway, where the frick is Vanessa?
Vanessa? There is no Vanessa that lives here. She cuts me off.
Don't lie. I know Vanessa lives here. Now please go and get her for me.
Are you sure that you have the right address? There's only me and my boyfriend in one flat, and the neighbor, let's call her Maggie, in the next one. Try up the street a bit.
Look, I don't care who the frick lives here, but just get Vanessa now, or I'll have you thrown out of this building. I know the landlady.
She tries to push me out of the way and make her way inside of my building. Keep in mind that I am 5'2", so I am a very small woman, and I have no upper body strength or overall strength. She was pretty strong, so it was a bit of a challenge to keep her from barging in. She then succeeds in getting inside while dragging her son behind her, and walks upstairs and basically just barges into my apartment. My boyfriend saw the whole commotion and was confused, so I was explaining it to him while she was still looking around for this so-called Vanessa who supposedly lives here, and we finally managed to talk her down after we threatened to call the police. My boyfriend had the police on speed dial ready to go. She suddenly had this look of fear on her face as soon as the police were mentioned. We asked her what address she was looking for, and it didn't match the address on my door, and we basically had to let her see one of our letters that had the address on it, as she was demanding to see it, or she said she wasn't going to leave. So I basically got annoyed at this point, and I fetched a letter to show her. She sees me coming back with the letter in hand, and tried to grab it from me, but I pulled my hand back and said, "No, this is how it's gonna go. I'll show you the letter to prove that you have the wrong address, and then you'll be on your freaking way, lady." She literally gives me this highly offended look, as if I had just killed her freaking cat. But she had it coming, so anyway. I showed her, and she went red in the face, started stuttering and trying to apologize, but I just didn't care at this point, so I told her to shove her apology. I also told her that the numbers of the address were on the front door downstairs, which she must have missed. She just wanted to leave, so I let her. But I followed her downstairs to show her the numbers on the door. I said, "So you see, maybe you need to go back to school and learn to read next time." Then I told her a few choice words which I am going to keep discreet, and I told her that if she ever pulled a stunt like that again, I will notify the police. She then scattered off into the distance. When I approach someone's house that I have never entered before, I always feel extremely nervous. for the fear that I might have the wrong house. I'll keep looking back, double checking the number to make sure I have the right number. So it seems strange to me that somebody would just barge into somebody's house, demanding to see Vanessa. Now all we're left with is this curiosity of why she wanted to see Vanessa so badly. So much so that she would just barge into some stranger's house. Do you think when people say, "I know the landlady," that they actually do and they just feel like it gives them more credibility? Or are they just making it up most of the time as a bluff? It just seems to happen way too often, and I don't think any landlady is that popular. This story was called, "I Already Moved For You." Well, move back and do it again. Stuck on a bus with an EP for 10 hours. This happened Monday. I've used buses all my life for long distance travel and never encountered this level of BS-ery. This all happened in a span of 5 minutes. I take an early bus back to Washington, D.C. after spending a lovely Easter weekend with my girlfriend's family. Seating is first come, first serve, and I go to the back of the empty bus so that I am closest to the bathroom. Everyone else shuffles in, and the bus is about halfway full. I'm lucky enough to have the big back seat to myself. I hear her before I see her. EP, medium length hair, bold highlights, hoop earrings, and bejeweled sunglasses. She's on the phone with, I assume, her husband, and is all but dragging a sleepy 3-year-old by the hand into the bus. I stick in my earbuds and try to bunker down for a nap when I feel a shift in pressure behind my head. I open my eyes and see the EP 6 inches from my face, her hand on my headrest. Her sunglasses are now on top of her head, and she's looking at me like I insulted her shirt. Can I help you?
Yes, I need this backseat for my little baby. They're not potty trained, and I need to be as close to the bathroom as possible. Can you move?
I move right away. Who am I to deny a kid who needs to go potty? I grab my backpack and shimmy out the seat, around the mum, and see an open seat across the aisle. No sooner do I place my backpack in the overhead storage area and sit down when I hear her dissatisfied screech.
What was that? Were you raised in a barn?
What are you talking about?
You never said bye-bye to Sleepy Kid when you moved. You were so rude. Look, they're so upset that they're crying.
Sleepy Kid is whimpering, but it's 3:30 AM and they're rubbing their eyes. Clearly the kid is just tired, and their high-pitched mother isn't helping. Me, just wanting to avoid conflict this early in the morning. Okay, I'm sorry. Turning to the Sleepy Kid from my seat. Bye-bye, Sleepy Kid. This of course does nothing to assist the tired child, and the mother goes full-on crazy.
What was that? You didn't do it right. Get up and do it again.
She picks up the now whining child and points to the seat where I just moved from. You want me to move where I was, say bye, and move into this seat again?
Yes! How else will Sleepy Kid calm down? You hurt his feelings.
No, not happening. With that, I put in my earbuds, crank up whatever was next on my Spotify playlist, and stare out the window. We haven't even left the garage yet, and I see the bus station workers loading luggage under the bus. I hear the mum yelling some vague insults at me, how I ruined her child for life. But soon enough, she sits down, and Sleepy Kid falls asleep on her lap. EP shoots me dirty glances the whole ride, and when we reach a rest stop with food, she cuts in front of me while I'm in line, dramatically flipping her hair and oversized hoops, like she's just finished delivering a winning speech. Whatever. EP, you got a crappy sandwich before I did. Cute kid though. This is how you can immediately detect crazy. When you've already done a favor for someone, but they then ask you to repeat that process because of some delusional belief that they have. In this case, thinking that he didn't say bye-bye to the kid, making the kid upset. You just know that this is a parent that never takes responsibility for their kid, so anytime their kid is upset, it's always something external. It's either someone else, the kid themselves. It might not, heaven forbid, be that they're not actually treating their kid right. The best advice I can give when a wild entitled parent like this appears is just to completely ignore them. It's like they're starved for drama or attention, and the more you give, the more they're gonna keep taking from you. This story was called EM Doesn't Understand Why 1800s Child's Toy Isn't Interesting. My daughter is 4 years old, and yesterday her preschool class went on a field trip to an 1800s themed park. This is a place where all the workers dress in traditional 1800s dress and teach the kids about life during that time period. My daughter's class was having a lot of fun. They rode ponies and sang old nursery songs and went through traditional period kids' rooms in big houses and did a lot of fun hands-on activities. One of the activities they offered was making their own 1800s style dolls out of corn husks and twine. Honestly, I thought they looked a bit like voodoo dolls, but my daughter loves hers. This is where the problems start. Enter entitled mum and her spawn. These people were not part of my daughter's group. They had just come for the day themselves, but they were sitting at the same table as we were during the doll making. And lucky us, they sat right next to me and my daughter. So I got a front row view of the following.
Mommy, this is boring.
Entitled mum, speaking to the park worker who was teaching kids how to make dolls.
Don't you have any other toys to make that are more fun?
No ma'am, these are traditional toys from the 1800s, and they can be fun if you use your imagination. My daughter, speaking to EK.
It's fun. Look, you can draw a face. No, this is stupid. It's not nice to say stupid.
EM, speaking to my daughter.
Don't tell my EK what she can say.
Me to the entitled mum. Please don't raise your voice at my daughter. She was just trying to explain that these toys can be fun.
Do not speak to me. Who are you anyway?
Turning back to the worker.
I need you to find me something else that we can make that isn't boring. These don't talk or light up or anything.
Ma'am, toys in the 1800s didn't do those things. Kids had to rely on imagination.
I cannot believe I paid $34 for this crap. There is literally nothing fun here for EK. Where are the rides and games?
This isn't Disneyland, ma'am. There are no mechanical rides or games. EK can ride the fun ponies though.
If I wanted EK to ride a pony, I'd buy her a freaking pony. She wants to make something fun, like at Build-A-Bear.
Well, you could go to Build-A-Bear. There is a mall not too far away.
That's ridiculous. I paid $34 to come here. I expected to have fun. If there's no fun here, then I demand a refund.
Ma'am, please lower your voice. If you want a refund, you'll have to go talk to the ticket desk.
Funny how the ticket desk has a freaking credit card machine. Last time I checked, the 1800s didn't have credit cards.
And then she and her spawn stormed off towards the ticket window. My daughter.
Mommy, that lady was crazy.
I have no idea if she ever got her refund. Why would anyone pay good money to go to a theme park that they didn't know anything about? With any choice you make, there's opportunity cost. By going to that theme park, they're not going to another one. So wouldn't you want to know if there were rides, what activities you could do, what's available? It's a very specific kind of theme park, being 1800s themed. I remember going to one of these when I was a kid, and it's really fun if your expectations are set right. It was fun seeing what buildings and shops looked like over 100 years ago. And we even got to pan for gold. Not that we ever found anything. It really just depends on what your expectations are, and if you don't do any research and just rock up and pay money, then it's your own fault for wasting your time and money. This fan-submitted story was called EP Wanted Me to Buy Her Groceries. A few notes before the story. I got into a habit of grocery shopping every other day, rather than weekly. The store was on my way home after dropping hubby off at work. My toddler had some slight immune issues. It's nothing serious. She can just get sick from the most minor things. Had the flu twice in a month. I have this issue too, so the doctor isn't concerned, as I know how to deal with it. 1 week last fall, we went to get her up in the morning, and she had a moderate fever. Hubby got a ride to work, and I spent the next 3 days making meals from whatever I could find in the apartment. No shortage on meals, just some creative solutions for dinner. A few days later, my daughter, Rose, was better, and we took hubby to work and went to the store. The cupboards were bare, aka I had finally used those cans of food you save for a rainy day. And although I was happy to be restocking, I was tired from being up with Rose, and not looking forward to carrying a large load of groceries up to my apartment. This all happens a few weeks after school had started up again, so September or October. I had my list, a hyper toddler who was finally outside again, and my pile of reusable grocery bags, all set for the task at hand. Up and down the aisles we went, filling our cart with fruits, veggies, milk, and an assortment of other things a stay-at-home mother and daughter may need through the day and for dinner. While we're not the type of parents who say no sugar, no gluten, only organic, etc., hubby and I don't really see the need to add unhealthy snacks to our already tight grocery budget. I could get a job, but daycare in my city is the second most expensive in my country, so we decided together that we'd rather I stay home and get Rose school ready than re-enter the workforce once she starts school. Important for later. Once I finish my shopping, I drag myself over to the cashier. We come by at 8 every morning, so we know Sarah well. She even has a granddaughter who is about 6 weeks younger than Rose, so she loves talking to us every morning, and I love the chance to talk with other adults, as 2-year-olds aren't the best conversationalists. Sarah is ringing up our groceries, I'm packing them into the bags, and we're having a lovely chat about Rose and her granddaughter. While this is happening, a mother and her daughter, about 12, start loading their few items onto the belt behind me. They had only a few items, and there was an empty express lane, but here they were. The daughter walked past me where I was packing the food, and stood at the end. There are 2 belts the cashier can put groceries on to speed up the bagging process. One person can bag on one belt, while the next customer is helped using the second. She stood so that she was at the end of both belts, and just waited, not an uncommon thing for a bored kid. As the last of my groceries rang up, I noticed a bag of candy and a box of Pop-Tarts. Oh, Sarah, those aren't mine. Sarah looks at the treats. I thought that wasn't right. She knows me so well. Are these yours, ma'am?
No, I saw her put them on. They're hers.
Sarah and I share a look. Me not wanting to cause a scene. Sorry, Sarah, I must have grabbed them accidentally. BS. I didn't even walk near that aisle.
Well, if you don't want them, I'll take them.
Okay, sure. Sarah moves them to her side of the divider on the belt and continues to ring me up.
Excuse me. Yes, ma'am. Those are hers. I'm just taking them.
We looked at her in confusion. I didn't want them, and you said you'd buy them.
No, I said I'd take them. You're still buying them.
Nope. I grabbed them from her side of the belt and passed them to Sarah. EP made a weird noise that sounded like a pig being strangled. She kinda looked like one too. Sarah and I ignored her. She's dealt with far too many of these people, and I've never been one to put up with anything. I've had cousins try to have me babysit 6 kids for $20 a day. I paid, said bye to Sarah, Rose blew her some kisses, and we headed to the car. I packed the car and was in the middle of buckling up Rose when I hear scoffing behind me. EP to her daughter.
Look, sweetie, see how fat she is? Rude people get fatter every time they hurt someone.
Yes, I'm overweight, but nowhere near her or her daughter's size. I closed Rose's door and opened mine. Then you best be careful, cause you're reaching critical mass. I jumped into the car, closed my door, and flipped her off as I started up the car and drove off. She was red in the face, screaming at me, as was her daughter. I was bullied a lot as a child, and it has made me very cynical and quick to turn into a bee when I'm attacked like that. If you'd like your story to be narrated by me, don't forget to visit the subreddit r/VoiceyHere, link below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Alright, I'll see you in the next one.